Here's why you should never, ever, ever own a stupid Tesla.
That's a malfunction. Yup, red card getting paid too.
I bought the car for $36,000 originally, and the insurance totaled it out 3 years later for $17,900.
Welcome back to another video. I'm the Old Wallet, and today we're looking at people regretting their electric vehicle purchases. There's a lot to dive into here. Before we get into it, if you like this content, please drop a like on the video. As always, guys, let me hear your thoughts down below and subscribe to the channel.
So about a month in, I finally got an electric car. I had been waiting to do this for a while. I was just so pissed off with the amount I was spending at the gas pump each and every week. And I was like, yo, it's hunk good. I'm gonna get rid of this gas guzzler. I'm gonna get an electric car. Slow your roll. Here are 3 things you need to know before you get an electric car. See, this whole like miles and range game is kind of fake because my car gets over 300 miles, but if you use all the perks that come along with it, it's going to get a lot less than 300 miles. See, I listen to all these people who drive their electric vehicles like Bill Nye the Science Guy, but if you're a real driver and you're using all the amenities in the car, then the mileage is going to shrink. So pay attention to battery percentage, not the mileage. People lie to you and they say, oh, well, if you can charge at home or at work, it's so easy breezy. At home, if you just plug your car into the wall, that's called a level 1 charge. And that's 120 volts, and it's usually going to take you 40 to 50 hours to charge your car. What you have to do is get a level 2 charger in your house. When you do that, then you can charge your car overnight. Same deal when you go to work. Usually it's a level 2 charger, but we're talking about 6 to 9 hours to fully charge your car. So if you're depending on that, you better have a spot where you can sit, because if you're at one of those places where every 4 hours they make you rotate, then you're not going to get a full charge at work. What I have learned is that when you're looking to charge your car quickly and completely, you want to find a DC fast charging station. See, I thought that, anywhere you went, you just plugged it in and it charged. That's not true. You want to look for some place that has between 150 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. That's the holy grail, because then you can charge your car in minutes, like 30 minutes, instead of 3 to 4 hours. Companies like Electrify America, EVgo, and ChargePoint are great, and they have the DC fast chargers that will charge you up really quick. But the thing you got to get used to is being like behind a Target or behind a grocery store where it feels like shady shit is going down behind you while you're plugged in. There is safety in numbers, and there are usually other drivers around, but it is weird that all of a sudden you're on the side of the Target in the middle of the night. The other thing that's happening with electric cars is I have this anxiety now. When my car gets below 50%, I start to freak out because I realize there's no gas station that I'm just gonna pull up and, fill up. When I had a gas car, I'd ride that joker well past E. But overall, an electric car has been a revelation, and I love that I'm not spending the money that I was spending before. I love it, but it ain't as easy as everybody thinks.
All right, so he dives into a lot of issues or inconveniences of owning an electric car. Obviously, some of those things are extremely important, and most people, when they buy an EV, they don't even research these things. The one that sticks out to me clearly is the charging issue. If your battery is low, it's not like you can just pull into the gas station nearby and get some gas. You got to go find a charging station. On top of that, it's very key to pay attention to the battery life and not the miles remaining, because I have seen and known people who have got stranded in their EV while standing still or not driving because they are not moving, but they are using the battery by utilizing the other features in the car. It sounds very basic, but trust me, I've seen so many scenarios where people do not know this. All I heard was anxiety. Done. Not happening just yet. Don't forget about when it's cold and you're suddenly stranded. Time is money. Looking for charging stations and waiting 29 minutes to an hour, that adds up. I can't fathom the idea of going on a road trip and my car dying. Gas stations are everywhere. Charging stations are not.
And here's why you should never, ever, ever own a stupid Tesla. Because charging stations, a rush hour, they get full, and then you gotta wait a half hour, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour to get a spot to charge your stupid electric car. And then when it's hot, you got to run the AC when you're sitting in this turd, and it takes twice as long to charge. So yeah, Tesla, you suck. Worst car ever. The worst possible car in the history of mankind. There you have it. I gotta go waste my life in this car and wait another 15-20 minutes for this stupid thing to charge. I hate it. I hate this car.
So this builds on the comment that we saw in the last video, and this is by far the biggest regret people have when they buy an electric vehicle. It's the charging. And it does baffle me how people aren't doing their research when it comes to buying an EV, that this is part of it. But yes, you have to charge your car. You have to drive to a location with a charging station. You have to wait until your car is fully charged. So the time taken to drive to a charging station and then the time taken to sit and wait for the car to be charged, that adds up because that's a daily thing for a lot of people. That's why to me, it only makes sense if you can have one of those really fancy chargers in your house or in your garage. But even still, I don't think EVs are really there yet to justify buying one over a gas vehicle. Then sell it, you clown. That's a bit harsh. And then you sit with it for hours. A full tank of gas takes maybe 6 minutes. Do not buy a Tesla without the ability to charge it at home.
It's an electric vehicle, ain't it? Somebody is getting paid. That's a malfunction. Yup, red car getting paid too. Hope they alright though. So y'all want us to get electric vehicles with self-driving, and they can do things like lock up and slide down a wall for like 2 miles. And there's nothing that you can do about it. You can't turn the car off, you can't turn the wheel, you can't hit the brake. You just along for the ride until you hit and possibly unalive somebody else. And that's exactly what happened in this video. I hope everybody in that red car is okay. But I know it was one part of the video, like he probably couldn't really even turn the wheel because he was in the car like this, hands in the air, just letting that thing slide on the wall. He could have did something to try to get other people out of harm's way. But nah, he clipped that little car and that thing flipped over. So he about to get paid and everybody in that red car about to get paid. Want you there by tomorrow.
First of all, I hope everybody in that situation was okay. But this is another scenario where I just don't think EVs are there yet. Personally, I don't trust it. I can't trust a self-driving car right now. If I were in a self-driving car, I would feel very anxious, very stressed. I've never been in one, but I'd rather just drive myself. I would feel way better just driving myself. That being said, I know a lot of people do love self-driving cars and they love the features of it. Just couldn't be me right now.
And I will never buy another electric car, and here's why. So as you guys all know, I had the Tesla Model 3, and that thing was just bad luck. I got hit 3 times within 3 years in that car. Well, the last time that I got hit, unfortunately, the car got totaled, so no more Tesla. But I have tons of negative equity because those things lose value ridiculously quick. Like, I bought the car for $36,000 originally, and the insurance totaled it out 3 years later for $17,900. Are you serious? $17,000 after I paid $36,000? That's like 20 grand in 2.5 years. What? So with that being said, I'll never buy another electric car. The only way that I'm getting an electric car is if I lease it, because that way I can avoid negative equity.
All right, so this gentleman touches on another significant reason people are regretting their purchases. EVs are depreciating more than any other car basically at the moment. Anybody who bought an EV in the past 5 to 6 years is completely underwater at the moment. They just don't hold their value at all. This guy lost $20,000 in 2 or 3 years.
TikTok, I'm back at it again. This time we're charging from 20%. I've been there for 62 minutes and I'm at $20 almost. With 73%, it says it's gonna stop at 80. I don't have time for this though. I don't have an hour every day to charge my car. If you have an electric car, I don't know how you do it. I'm telling y'all.
Over 1 hour to charge your car. That's just wild, man. Imagine adding an hour to your commute every day, specifically because you have to charge your car. And I know some charging stations are better than others, but even still, you still have to wait in line. You still have to wait to charge your car. This isn't a gas station. A gas station takes 5 minutes. I think it's just insane that some people jump into this without researching it. Charging your car and how you're gonna do that, how long it takes, is probably the most important thing you would have to research before buying one of these. If you don't have a house with a garage, don't buy an electric car. This guy says buy a Tesla, takes me 30 minutes or less for 100% charge. That's still a lot of time. Like, imagine even adding 20 minutes to your commute every day just seems like a lot. I don't understand why people make such an investment with zero research.
This is your monthly reminder to never get an electric vehicle or go in Mercedes. So not only is it a crazy hassle to have this electric vehicle, if you don't do your research, of course, and if you don't get a charger installed in your house, and if it's not your second vehicle. These are all things I wish somebody told me before I got an electric vehicle, but I'm going to tell you guys. Number one, make sure the tank is over 300 miles. Mine is 220 miles. So in 2 days, I'm already charging. And the money you're saving with going electric, you're now spending time. And if you know anything about anything, time is more valuable than money, okay? Also, you can't just charge your car wherever. Like, I thought I was charging that Tesla. You can't just do that. You got to have a specific app, and once you get there, you got to make sure, first of all, when you check in the app, it might show that it's free, but once you get there, there's going to be a line of 12 people waiting. Now you're number 13, and you got another 3 more hours before you charge. So make sure the app is right, but that don't even matter, because once you get there, something else is going to happen. Listen, then you got to learn how to charge your car. Set up your payment, make sure the payment is good and everything is all great. That's going to take you another hour. Long story short, I've ran out of charge within the first week of me having my car. I've towed my car to Mercedes about 15 times since then because of electrical problems. So there's tons of electrical problems. Now I'm in a loaner, the second loaner, because the first one I just had yesterday caught a flat. So now they put me in this second nice EQS, $100,000 car, and I paid $300 for the last tire. Now, yeah, I get it. It's Mercedes. I should have known what I was doing. Listen, don't get an electric car. Stick to gas. And I don't want to hear nothing about this hybrid stuff, because it ain't really hybrid. If you know, you know. Don't get an electric car.
There's just way too many hoops to jump through just to figure all this stuff out. You got to figure out where you can charge your car. You got to make sure you do everything through the app and figure out everything in the app. You got to deal with electrical issues. It's just too much, man. I'd rather just fill my car up with gas and get on with my life.
I regret buying my Tesla. Never thought I would say this, but it messed up today. The screen has stopped working. I will just have to send in for a service request and see what can be done.
All right, so this is part of the electrical issues we were just talking about. Imagine you just get in your car, you turn it on, and the screen isn't working. Keep in mind, this screen is the hub that basically controls everything inside of the car. So if this screen is not working, you can't drive. Now, I know every car has its inconveniences, but these EVs have so much problems with just way too much tech in the car. It leads to situations like this where you have to go out of your way to get it fixed.
If you are thinking about buying a used Tesla, let me give you the best piece of advice you'll ever hear. Do not do it. Might be the worst decision you ever make with money. My For You page recently has been a lot of people buying Teslas, so I just got to put this out there. I have owned multiple Tesla Model S's, and they are probably the best car you can ever buy until you hit 100,000 miles. And then they start falling apart. It is mind-blowing how fast they go downhill at 100,000 miles. For example, I'm in my 2020 Model SP. I've owned this thing for a few years, bought it at 30,000 miles, and it's been in limp mode for a week. My friend has a 2021, and his multiple doors on his are broken right now. He just hit 100,000 miles. I don't know if it's because I'm buying the Model S. I don't know if it's because I'm buying the top trim of the Model S. All I know is that I would never, ever recommend anyone buys one that is not brand new with a 5-year warranty.
All right, so on top of all the issues that we've already spoken about in this video, this guy's only speaking on Teslas, so he's not speaking for all EVs, but apparently they aren't very durable. So that's definitely certainly something to think about if anybody is in the market to buy an EV, because a lot of people regret their EVs because they aren't very durable. I've sold a few ones, and let me tell you, they all glitch out. They've all been low miles, but they can't help but consistently have sensor failures.
This is a video I've been waiting for, and it's everything about why I regret buying our Tesla. So I did a video recently on things I regret buying, and one of them was my Tesla, and a lot of people asked why I regret buying it. To start us off, there are some pros to having a Tesla. So I really do think it is a great car in terms of how it drives. It drives really nice and smooth. You want to overtake someone, want to quickly pull out, you put your foot down and it goes. I've never felt more safer trying to overtake someone in the Tesla. When we test drove the car, my first thing was about how comfortable the seats are. So when you're going on long car journeys, they really are so comfortable. The thing is, there's nothing better, because obviously it's all controlled by an app, that when you're in bed you can just turn on for the heating, and then obviously you get into your car and you've got a lovely warm car. Gone are the days of having to quickly jump outside, put your keys in the ignition, turn it on, go back inside, and then hope for the best that eventually your car will be warmed up. Also, the gimmicks, I'm not gonna lie, the gimmicks are great. A lot of things like the fart cushion, like when I've got my nieces and nephews in the car, they love the fart cushions. But obviously with it all, there are some things that I find really annoying, and it kind of makes me think, are they worth it? Is it really the future? So we have a Tesla Model 3 standard range. We bought it in 2021, and we should get about 240 miles out of our car. However, you'll be so lucky if you get 200 miles. I think the 240 miles, obviously, once you take into consideration maybe like the heating, heated seats, sat nav and all that, it starts to reduce your mileage. And I just find it so annoying that I think you just tell me what my mileage is and work out what the reduction will be. Because of that, obviously any journey you do, you think, oh, I should have enough charge to get there. Even when it says that you have like 10% of your miles left, I guarantee you will not have 10% of your miles left. By the time you get to your end destination, you'll probably literally have 1% of your miles left. You end up having to charge more, and obviously when you've got long car journeys, it just adds so much unnecessary time to your journey. So what might take an hour and a half could take nearly like 2.5 hours. And everything is the door handles. If you've ever been in a Tesla, one, no one knows how to get out of your car and you have to tell them about pushing the button. And then when you're outside, the door handles are flush to your car. Because of that, if you've got really long nails, if it's like wet, if it's dark, it's so hard, honestly, to like push your hands in. Again, you have to like do like a multi thing, like push in and then pull. I think with all the gimmicks that the Tesla has, why doesn't it just like pop out the door handle for me and then I can pull it out? What is really good about the car is that it has driver profiles. When I unlock the car with my phone, with my card, it obviously has everything set to me. So it has my heating set to me, it has obviously the wing mirrors set to me, seat position, wheel position, all of that all set to me. And also it's really good that my Spotify is then linked to me as well. But the radio is not linked. So I have to listen to the annoying radio station that my husband listens to when I want to be listening to my radio station. If you're driving a Tesla in the UK countryside, you will know the annoyance of the beeping. Teslas are not built for UK countryside roads. There's nothing worse when you're driving on a 60-mile-an-hour road. The roads are really narrow, and obviously we do drive closer to maybe the curbside, but obviously it's not a curb because it ends up just being a grass verge. It beeps at you non-stop. It beeps at you saying that you're going to go off the road. It beeps at you saying that there's obviously an obstruction there, but it's just grass. And I just think, again, with the technology, why don't you understand that these are UK roads? I'm not actually about to go off the road. I generally have to be that far over. Also, the beep is such a pain when you're out and about. There'll be cars parked on the side of the road and you'll probably be like 20 meters away from it and it'll beep at you saying, warning, car there. And I don't know if there's a way you can change the sensitivity. We've not found out, and we've obviously had this car now, what, 4 years? You can't figure out how to change the sensitivity or how to turn the beeping off, because my gosh, if we could turn that beeping off, I think this would change my mindset so much. And then my final thing is with the charger. So obviously when you have your charger, the little charger flap opens up. When it's pitch black, you cannot find your charger. So, you know, like I'm in the dark because like when I get home and I want to charge the car, I don't actually have a light around me, so I'm having to guess how to like get it in. It's like a little tiny Tesla logo telling me if it's charging or not, but there should be like in the flap, to me, there should be like a little light just pointing down so I know exactly where to put in. Otherwise I'm just stabbing, and honestly it's like a guess game. Like I say, they are great cars, but I just personally don't think for me we would buy a Tesla again. Obviously, if you are thinking about buying a Tesla, take my video with a pinch of salt. Everyone wants something different out of a car. This is just my personal opinion on maybe why I regret buying my Tesla. My husband is actually really pro Tesla and he's really offended that I'm making this video.
All right, so I don't want this video to be completely slamming EVs. So I'm glad she touched on some of the good things that she likes about them, particularly with her Tesla. And she also dives deeper into some of the minor inconveniences that you might experience with a Tesla or other EVs. We already know about the charging stuff and the electric stuff and paying attention to your battery and not your miles that you have left, which she also touched on. But she also mentions the smaller stuff such as the door handle, which I don't know that needs to be changed. Door handles are just fine. We don't need to change door handles, but also the car beeping when you're walking away, charging it in the dark can be difficult. So I'm glad that she touched on those things as well. Overall, I don't think EVs are anywhere to where they need to be. I don't think this is something we can sit here now and say, oh, these are the future. They're just not close. Maybe one day they will when they get through some of the smaller things that we've discussed in this video. There are benefits to them, but definitely one of the biggest issues is the range. If you're only getting 200 to 300 miles per charge, that's just not enough to forego a gas car, in my opinion. But maybe as that gets longer and the technology gets more advanced and better, they can actually become viable. All right, that's all I got for you for today. If you like this content, please drop a like on the video. As always, guys, let me hear your thoughts down below and subscribe to the channel. I will see you on the next one.